All right, everybody, what is going on? Blaise over here, the Blue Chip Athletic Club podcast, and I'm stoked to do our first in-person podcast with the OG. His name is Cole Morris. Cole, welcome, dude.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so stoked to do this. So, Cole, tell the people a little bit about you, and then kind of your background.
So, my name's Cole. I'm from Bakersfield, California. It's a little over 4.5 hours from here. 27. I work here in Sacramento. I moved here about 6 years ago, and I started working out with Blue Chip a little over 2 years, maybe a little under.
Yeah, I think it's been a couple years now. I think it's been a little over 2.
Yeah, I think it was July. Would have been 2 years, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, what kind of started that?
Also, I'm a type 1 diabetic. I've had diabetes since I was 6. And you mean like life with diabetes is crazy. Trying to be healthy without diabetes is, not easy enough. But trying to be healthy with diabetes is crazy. I moved up here. I had a little diabetes scare, like I said, in July. I got sick. I was hospitalized for 3 days, 2 days, and I was a skinny guy, like skinny boy forever. But after losing a ton of weight in the hospital for this diabetes fiasco, I was at like skin and bones, paper. So my parents were like, we got to get you in the gym. We got to do something. If this happens again, you have no weight to lose. So, and I knew Blaise, and I knew he was an athletic guy, and I was like, why would I go to a gym? And I know somebody who's pretty athletic, and I would love to work out with him anyways. So that's kind of how we started. I just was like, hey man, you're in good shape. What would it take for you to train me? And it's kind of how it started.
We totally fell into it. It was definitely no part of it was planned. Cole and I were too busy going out to the bar and hanging out before we did it.
Yeah, Also, just a quick how me and Blaise met. So I have a couple other buddies who moved up here with me. They got a job in the Coast Guard, and that's what Blaise does.
You got to shout out the boys.
Yeah, so shout out Carter Kerwin. Shout out my boy Bryce Hurrick. I met Carter. Carter introduced me to Bryce, and then we all just kind of became a group. Carter said, hey, these are my buddies from Bakersfield. These are my Coast Guard buddies, and we all just became homies. And like you said, we're hitting the bar and having a good time and, watching sports, tailgating. And then one day I got sick and then we started working out.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about what, I guess what you've learned in the past couple years. Cause I know I've learned a bunch, coaching standpoint and also about diabetics too. I feel like I knew absolutely nothing before we started working together. Talk a little bit about some of that stuff that you feel like you've learned in the last couple of years.
Well, so one thing for sure, I've always kind of had a toe in sports. I never really was an athlete, but parents always wanted me to play sports, soccer, football, swimming. So I've always kind of been somewhat active, but not an athlete in any way, shape, or means. So I'd never really had real dedicated gym time. It was kind of after school, go to the gym so you could play at the week or play the game that week or I never really was in the gym for something besides sports. So after high school, stopped playing sports, obviously. And that was kind of the end of my gym and working out time. And so now I got older, time goes on and I started working out again. And it's really me relearning what physical, activity does to my blood sugar and how me training and, taking good care of myself shows on my A1C, which is how your blood sugars look over a 3-month span. So working out and tracking your eating, which is stuff you do for the gym. But being a diabetic, you really see, what changing, your diet or working out one day a week really does to your blood sugars. I run high. My blood sugar normally runs high. So working out, brings my blood sugar down. And then also having the knowledge about food that, Blue Chip kind of taught me, eating protein before you work out, eating protein after you work out. And being a diabetic just kind of makes you learn all those things at a much, you have to learn it. If you want a 6-pack, you got to eat this, you got to do that. If you want to survive with diabetes, you have to eat this and do that. And you can't just screw around with your health. And drinking on the weekends is all great and everything, but actually working out and learning what small workouts can change this, or working out before you go to bed can help your blood sugar do this, or working out first thing in the morning could have your blood sugar do this. So it's really just been learning, how my body reacts to like these different kinds of workouts we do. And sometimes we're lifting weights, and my body needs a little bit extra out of me. And other days we're stretching and, doing like a labor day or like a mobility day, and which I don't really have to have like my blood sugar as tight to do those things. So diabetes and the gym like go hand in hand, but learning them together at the same time is really kind of cool, and it helps you kind of like make like a habit. So like I said earlier, I like to eat protein before I have sugar, or eat protein before you work out, so your body has what it takes to get the workout and get good results out of it. So diabetes and the gym, learning how to do the gym is interesting. Learning how to do diabetes is very interesting, and like learning them together at the same time is interesting, but also very cool. It's easy to see how they correlate together with like nutrition facts and how my body reacts to things and how the gym makes me feel. So
yeah, for sure. I will say there was a time where we did not have such a great understanding, and Cole legit fainted during a session, bro. Like I was like walking inside to go grab, I forget what I was doing. I was like walking inside to grab something, and all I heard was like wham, and he hit the ground so hard you fell over. I forget what exercise you were doing too, but you fell down like
I just remember being on the ground.
Oh my gosh, dude. And I sprinted in. I was like, what do I do? And you're like, get me some juice. And I'm like running around to get you some juice to help even out the levels. Oh my God, dude. I was wigging out. I had no idea what to do.
And I apologize to all my friends who I put this to, So it happened, my blood sugar gets low. And when your blood sugar gets low, it's almost like kind of being drunk. You don't really have full functionality of your body. And when you're trying to lift weights and, like be athletic with low blood sugar, you're kind of just like noodle legged. So yeah, I went down and I just, juice it helps my blood sugar go up fast. So I was like, juice. But yeah, he actually didn't make me finish the workout that day. Good looking. But yeah, no. So we learned quick.
Could you imagine if I made you do that, dude? By the way, I know you just fainted, but how about you go back and start hitting a couple more sets on the Echo bike, bro?
Yeah,
you're out of your mind, dude.
So I had juice, I got better. But yeah, that was like at the learning point. Like, okay, Cole, so maybe we shouldn't try to lift a ton of weights with low blood sugar. But it's you learn things like day at a time, and I probably didn't check my blood sugar before the gym. But yeah, so that's what he learned that the hard way. But yeah, I apologize to everybody who have put that through. Learning the hard way sucks, especially when it's like, do I need to give you juice? Do I need to give you like a shot? What are I gonna do? So, but luckily I was able to tell you what I need. So
thank God. And I apologize to Mama Morris over there, dude, for that too, because I know how that was probably pretty scary.
And she's the one who normally trains people. So like, I grew up, I moved out, whatever, life goes on, and like she was the one who used to train my friends as a kid. Like, well, if he starts doing this, go do that. So it's like, yeah, I always forget. Like, I have to like remind people, like, yeah, I have diabetes. If you see these signs, like, do something. But yeah, normally people find out the hard way, just like Blaise. Like, what do I need to do? So I appreciate you for giving me juice.
Yeah. No, it's been super cool. I'll say that I never really, we kind of like went into it without a real good understanding of like how we were going to make it happen. I want to talk through like the past 2 years and how you felt like, hey, months 1 through 3, and we can share like progress photos too from that point until where you are now, which are crazy, over the course of that span. But like, talk through like how difficult showing up is in the beginning of a journey like that, and then how it is now, and then talk about like the other pieces of your life that have kind of shifted as well, because I think that's really important to like talk about those pieces too.
For sure. And like, so like my mom said the same thing too. I'm the kind of person who likes to work out when it's over. Like I don't like
everybody.
I don't like the actual process of like working out, and like I know people who love it, who love the pain, who love to push themselves, but I'm the opposite. If no one's watching me work out, I'm probably not going to do it. But like it's like when I first started here, it was like it was forced. My parents were like, you have to do this. If this happens again, you're going to get sick, you're going to die, whatever, yada yada. And I mean, still, like, working out isn't the funnest thing for me, but like, the more I do it and like, the more we practice, like for me, it was deadlifting. In high school, I've never been able to deadlift correctly. And it's just like, it's embarrassing. And all your classmates can, do what you want to do and you can't do it. So we got here and I tried deadlifting for him the first time. I'm like, this is awful. It's kind of just like life. First time you do things and it's not perfect the first time, it's like, I don't want to touch it again. It's hard. I have to go out of my way to do this. But like, yeah, when you do it right, when you do it correctly, it's like, oh, that's all it took. That's easy. And like, you want to go again. You want more. So like, I when I first started working out, like I said, like, Mom, how much longer do I have to do this? How much longer do I have to do this? And now it's like, I'm trying to get extra days in a week and like, think you get better and better. I used to be able to do like seriously 15 push-ups. And that was it. 15, I'm taking a break. I'm throwing my shoulders out. I'm trying to talk. And then that's it. I'm like struggling. And now I look forward to doing push-ups to warm up our set. And like, I'm still trying to learn like how to do pull-ups, like full form pull-ups. And that's like one thing that I want to get to.
We're going to unlock it. How long did you hang from a bar today?
Dude, well, the first one we did was like a minute with the knees up and like shaking like a little leaf.
Yeah.
So we're done hanging for the day. And he's like, oh no, the next one we're doing the L sit on the hang. And like, dude, my abs are screaming at me, shoulders are screaming. But like, yeah. And like, there was one exercise we did today where you hung upside down. And like, watching him do it, it's like, what? How am I going to do that? But once you hang upside down, it's like, oh, I can see. And I want to try to get that lean that you did, the back and forth lean. So it's like, yeah, the first time it's not fun when you do it. But like once you see it and like once you know you can do it right, like I really want to do it right.
Yeah, we call that like first pancake syndrome, or that's what I like to call it. Like the first time, your first pancake in the morning, whenever you make it, is like total shit. But then after that, like the pancakes typically improve, and then your pancakes become, better pancakes.
Yeah.
Every single time you make them, they're better. And I'll say too, like, man, when we first got that barbell out, like you were so frustrated with when you were doing deadlifts, dude. It was so frustrating, and you were like really, really mad, and you were like, I should be able to do more weight than this, and that was kind of like the thing. But we really slowed down and broke down kind of each movement and kind of separated things and kind of really taught that good body positioning. And now, dude, we haven't done a max day in a little bit, but I know that the maxes had went up like 25%. Like at least,
since the numbers we did, when we had Jack and I don't know if it was Kai here, but when you were deadlifting the other time, like we went over my max.
You repped it for 3, I think.
Yeah, and I was like, and for more, and that was my max. And like you said, once you learn how to do the small things, like everything falls into place, and it feels so good to like beat your PR or beat your high score. Like I'm a big gamer too, and so I'm a huge video gamer. So like it's all about the high score for me, high score. So like if one of your friends gets a high score and like you can't beat it, it's very like discouraging. So like, and that's why like instead of letting me quit, it's like, well no, get your shins closer to the bar, kind of squat down, put your back straight more, and then like next thing you know, I'm hitting my PR 3 times, and that is when it's like your heart starts beating. It's like, well, I can do more. Maybe I can throw more on. And like, that's kind of the point where I'm at with like, obviously deadlifting, but I want to get there with, so many more things. Like the L sit today, the way you just like had your leg, that was crazy. Like, and talk about core strength, you made me kind of like.
Yeah. So there, like, I will say there's nothing more humbling than like going in there and like trying something new. And there was a time where like Cole would pop in there and you could see it on his face. It was like moral defeat when you would pop in and try something new. And now I feel like it's almost like totally shifted where you're like, I don't really have anything to lose because I haven't done this before. Mm-hmm. So expectation is low. Like
very low.
So like realistically, like you'll probably, even the first time you do it, exceed expectation. And then after that, you're like, okay, this is now the baseline. And like, what can I do now? And tell me a little bit about how you've been measuring progress. Like, I know before, and we haven't done it super recently because it's starting to get cold outside, but I was really good about like snapping progress photos of you training because I thought that it was something really, really cool for you to see because, we tell people like this all the time that train with us. It's like, bro, if you're not taking like progress photos, or you're not like measuring yourself on a scale, or you're not measuring and really thinking about and being intentional about how your body like looks, moves, or feels, you're probably struggling to see the progress. And then your motivation can really, really take a hit if depending on how you want to measure success. So for you, I think especially right away, it was really, really helpful to be like, dude, look at your back when you're doing these deadlifts. Look at how your tries have like improved, and look at how your body's composition is shifting. And we hadn't even really dove into the nutrition piece yet, the other kind of components of it. And like this is like just skimming the surface. And you've come so far since then. And I think like now, I almost think like I don't have to go out there and show you the progress. You feel the progress now.
That's what kind of my next point was. Like, I mean, obviously everybody wants to look good. Like everybody wants to be skinny and
everyone wants to look good naked
and be buff. Yeah, 100%. And like I don't have a six pack yet, obviously, but like no. But my biggest thing for me is like, I mean, I do love to look at myself, but I hear it from other people, like, you know, around me more than anything. Like I used to have no butt, like just like a flat board back, and like you'd be surprised how many people like what I've seen my whole life and never said anything about me not having a butt, whatever, anything. But like, dude, you have a nice like little butt. When did you get that? Or in like my legs, like I don't even know what I was in. And Mom's like, "Oh, your legs look like you've been doing." So it's like, "Well, yeah, Mom, I've been working out." But like, so
come on,
I love like, and I'm being complimented. Everyone loves too. But like, yeah, my progress. You just feel good. Like you feel more useful. Like you playing football with your friends at the park. Like you feel like you can, you know, do something. I feel like you can put the ball down. But like it's crazy because everybody else, like everybody around me, just like, you know, you look healthier. You stand healthier. My legs, like my calves, I look at my legs all the time, just all day long. But I like just like progress for me is just like pictures. Obviously, I have a ton of those too. But everybody around, and just you feel it. You feel progress. Like when you, like I said, when you get that PR, it's like the high score. It's like this. It's such a good. It's like a high. Like you're so high on that number. Like, oh, remember the last time I hit that? You know, you remember it forever. So, and the gym for me is like constantly getting a new PR every time I come here is like awesome.
What has that done? Like I realize, you know, from my perspective, I feel like it affects not just your training ability, not just the way your physical body looks, but also like your professional life, your personal life. Like what has being active in your progress in the gym and the way that you kind of look, move, and feel, how is that translated over to like, you know, whether that's dating life, whether that's your job and what has happened there? Like tell us a little bit about some of those things, because I know that that's like definitely changed in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and so I mean, like my whole family's into football, and it kind of like it's kind of like a mindset, you know, like if you're doing work that nobody else is doing, you're obviously going to feel good about yourself. So like if you're a football player and you get up and you do 2 a days, you're going to feel better than the people who worked out once a day. Or like, yeah, if you get up earlier than other people, you're going to feel better than like people who get up late. But like, yeah, I love to, well, I used to not, but like I'm falling in love with working out and like the process. Like, so yeah, I'm leaving work and I'm going straight to the gym and I'm working out hard. So then when I'm after the gym, I'm getting in the ice bath. I'm refreshing my body. I'm getting home. It's like, it's just, it structures your life. It gives you like discipline. I mean, obviously no one wants to do what they don't want to do, but when you do it constantly, like you trick yourself out and you're like, I feel good about what I'm doing. Like nobody else is doing
confidence,
this.
Right?
Yeah. You feel super confident and like, you just get like that better, like you feel better syndrome. Like, well, I know my buddy, he didn't work out today, so I feel better than he does. Like, you know, like I did more with my day than he did. Keeping up with the Joneses, but like, it's just, and like the more you do it, the more you want to do it, and the more you want to do it, the better shape you get. So I've had just a great time with
what's happened like in your job specifically. Like I feel like you've gotten like 3 raises since you started like training, and then you're talking about like going and tearing it up at the bar now with this like newfound confidence. Like I want to hear about some of that stuff too.
Well, I mean that's so new job position so I've been working out for 2 years. I got a new position at my job in February, and it kind of just goes with that like a football coach discipline. Like, you know, the more work you do, you're a work-worthy person. You're worthy. So like, yeah, if I'm working, I got a new promotion at my job. I got a bonus. But I'm working hard at my job, but I'm still working out. It's like stats on your board. Stat pad. Not only did I get up at 8 today, but I got up at 8 today and went to the gym and did extra stuff at work. It's like more stats. I love stat building. The more stats you can give me, the better. So like it goes. I mean, it's just discipline. Football player mentality. Like be the first person at work, be the last person to leave work. Be the first person at the gym, be the last person to leave the gym, or like just sit there and learn at the gym. Like you don't have to be the strongest guy at the gym. I learned how to deadlift in this past 2 years, and that's all I want to teach everybody is put your legs closer to the bar. Put your back out, stick your back out, stand up straight. You can switch your grips if you want. So just the more information that you have, the more you can talk, and that's kind of how it works at work. The more you know at work, the more you can help people at work. The more you work out, the more you can help people work out and like have fun working out. Make it like a challenge instead of like, I want a six pack.
Yeah, it's really tough, and we say it all the time. It's like it's really hard for you to really make progress, like lifetime progress, and not yo-yo kind of back to old habits if you're driven by a vanity goal. And I think a vanity goal is really, really good for you to get involved, right?
Like a six pack. That's totally. Like my vanity goal. But like, but in the long term would be like me and my diabetes, like protein, blood sugars, but the six pack was the stepping stone in. But like, and then you learn and you better yourself.
Yeah, dude, it's been so cool too to watch it like kind of unfold in front of us, and it's been this way too. I think for the past couple of years of like, hey, this shift has been slow and incremental. Because at first, you didn't want to pop in, and we'll say too, like, what was your New Year's resolution?
Dude, ice bath. So and the ice bath, you have to try it. You cannot knock it until you try it. But the ice bath, I mean, the first time he got it, like, cool, you got a bucket of ice water, like, cool. You get it. It's seriously crazy. You jump in there. It took my breath away. I jumped in and jumped out so fast, like a bouncy ball. Never again. I'll never get in the ice bath again. I'll never do that again. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And I literally, it's now like my newest addiction. Like, I mean, it's not always fun, but like you get in there, it sucks for 2 minutes. You're just kind of going through it, biting your teeth. Like gritting your nail or knuckles. But once you get out, it's like, like that golden moment, like the sun shining on you. You feel warm, like you feel good. You feel warm. Your body feels great. The ice baths is like the definition of like discipline.
Yeah, it's like a mental battle, and it's so funny. Like I started doing it because I was like, oh, the physical benefits of doing an ice bath are crazy. Like I'm like looking all these things up. It's like, oh, your body's ability to recover, your blah, 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 like all these kind of like things. I did this like trickle down, into huge studies and like data. And we've actually done podcasts on those too in the past. But then I started doing it, and then I really, really, just like you, fell in love with the mental battle piece. It's like, you never want to get in it, bro. You'll hover over the top and you'll be like, I really don't want to get into this thing. And no matter how many times you do it, I still get that same pit that's like, I don't want to get in. And then when you force yourself to do something that makes you a little bit uncomfortable, you're able to not only conquer it, but make it like your bitch, You like get out of there and you're like, hey man, like I can do hard things. You're reminded that you can do hard things in 40-degree water. And not to mention too, your whole year you haven't missed. So
I missed once all year.
So that's what I want to talk about too, is like when you first came here, we first got the ice bath, Cole was like, he was in it and out.
You couldn't pay me enough to get in there. You couldn't pay me enough to get in there.
And then I think we got you in, and I think we started with like 15 or 30 seconds. And then we started to get like 30 seconds, it was like once a week. And then it was like 30 seconds twice a week. And then we did like 3 times a week. And then there's a time period where you would probably do it like on and off. You'd be like, oh, I'm not getting
I'm too scared today. Or no, I have a cut on my leg, so I can't get in the water today. I would come up with a random excuses.
And you know what? I did not push him to get in there on those days. I would be like, oh, come on, man. But you know what? There's a lot of times too where he was like, oh, I'm just not going to do it. And I'm like, that's fine. This year, you came to me and you're like, I'm going to do that. My New Year's resolution is to not skip a plunge all year long.
Yeah, not skip one. So like that's like whatever, like on a non-scheduled day. But like if I'm scheduled to work out and I'm here working out, I cannot skip it. no matter what. And yeah,
and dude, today is October the 28th, and you have stuck true to it for nearly 10 full months.
Yeah.
10 full months. You have 2 months left, and they're not even the coldest months of the year. The first 2 months, I think, are the coldest of the year.
January and February.
So you're on like the downswing. It's a little bit tougher than it is midsummer, because midsummer it's real nice to pop out of that thing.
Well, that was my next point. Like, even when it's 110 outside, like, you don't want to get in an ice bath. You do not want to get in an ice bath. And right now it's getting colder and colder. The sun's going down earlier. It's getting harder and harder to get in that ice bath. But like, it's that much more rewarding. Like, yeah, I did this, and I know somebody else who couldn't do this or didn't do this today. So it's getting cold. It's getting cold for the ice baths outside.
Yeah, it's so cool. I think that, like, you think about physical challenges, mental challenges, and those things, and you start to kind of, and we talked about it too a bit before, like, get addicted to those things. And then we've even started, and I know I hooked you up with a buddy of mine, Pat, who's a financial guy. So how is that kind of like discipline in those facets of your life that are, training, mental toughness, and those things now starting to carry over into, like, hey, planning for the future, like figuring out these other things too? Because I think that's something that I think a lot of people will not be like, oh, I started going to the gym and now I'm starting to think about like how to save for retirement, or how to like be like intelligent in that way. Like, how do we get from A to B, and how did you start formulating that plan?
Well, so a huge part about this is, having a role model. So Blaise was my friend before he was my trainer. So he was my role model before I started having him help me with my health. And so watching him, grow and his business grow, and learn from him and see how he handles his money. Like, yeah, you want to be the next best guy. So like, seeing him working out, I want to work out. I want to be strong. Seeing him save his money, like, I want to save my money. I want to, have a good, future. And just shout out Pat. I have a call with him coming up closer to Thanksgiving. But yeah, like, it's, we kind of made a soft plan. I haven't been following it religiously, but I'm still on the path. I'm still on the way of pulling money out of your paycheck, a certain amount, save it. And it's just discipline. I don't want to pull $200 out of my paycheck. I can go get 230 racks of beer and watch football or whatever, like, you could spend that money and have fun always. But like, yeah, discipline. Instead of going to the bar with my friends, I'm going to go hit the gym and then make dinner. Oh, instead of spending $2,000 on a new video game or like whatever, new pair of shoes or new outfit, I'm going to pull this and save it for my future. And it goes hand in hand. Like, once you get like that brain state of like, I could be doing something better than what I'm doing, is what I'm doing right now worth my time? And saving money is it's just discipline. It's just as hard as working out is. Like, it's just as hard, if not harder. And it's, once you get the workout discipline, then you get the money discipline. And once you get the money discipline, you can get family discipline. And then once you get family discipline, you can just live life and just be happy. So I like discipline. For me, it all kind of boils down to like a football coach's brain. Like, be the best guy. Sorry, my phone keeps blowing up. Be the best guy you can be. And if you're not, then you're wasting time. And every step you take towards greatness will give you 2 more steps. So I took a step towards working out, and now I'm taking steps towards like financial freedom, if you will. Small steps, though. Small steps for now. But yeah.
Yeah, but talk about like the small steps are so important. And we talked before, like climbing Everest, somebody sits at the bottom of Everest, 14,000+ feet, and you're sitting there and you're like, how am I going to make it to the top of this mountain? I feel like that's the same with graduating from college without a single credit under your belt. Financial freedom, that's training and having and looking, moving, and feeling the way that you want to. All those things. But by taking that one small step, and whether that's saving $1 a day because that's all you can do to start, or $200 a month, or whatever your kind of plan is, having somebody to hold you accountable to that. I want to know a little bit about like, how has it been having like a coach to hold you accountable there, and then now starting to delve into like having accountability for those other parts in your life? Like, how has that been kind of setting you on this path as well.
Well, being held accountable is huge. If no one's gonna hold you accountable, then like, are you gonna hold yourself accountable? Which I will say I never will. The more people I have holding me accountable, like making sure I'm in my spot, the better I will be. So it's really beneficial for me to have a coach because, like I said earlier, if you're not telling me to do it, I'm not going to do it. And it's beneficial to have. It's almost like a check in. Like instead of just you being happy and free and not worrying about anything, like it's like a goal. Having a coach is like a goal. Like so you know what you're supposed to be doing, and this goal, your coach actually will tell you like this is what you need to be doing. Instead of like, okay, well, I'm going to set this goal and never do anything to attain it, or never do anything instead of, but I have goals, but you're not following it, you're not taking the steps. So yeah, having a coach for me is everything. And that for working out, for money, even for my job, having like someone that help me with my position, and just having people on your team, good people on your team, is like what it's all about. And it's like the right parts for your car. Once you get all the right parts, you really start humming and flying down the freeway. When you're trying to put whatever 4 parts in a Lamborghini, it's shaky ride, it's rattly. So that the more professionals you can get on your team, and by professional I don't mean like an actual paid professional, but like people who are looking out for you, people who know what you need, and people who are holding you accountable, like giving you some tough love sometimes. That's what I think everybody needs. If no one's holding you accountable, then like what's
Yeah, dude. And I'll say I echo that same thing. Like I am somebody who I have 3 business coaches. I have a trainer who coaches me online. I've got 2 trainers that coach me in person. I've got other aviators that I would consider mentors as well. Like I could probably count about 10 people that I'm like, yep, that person has coached or mentored me directly or indirectly. And a lot of them are even friends and peers.
Yeah.
So I totally agree, man. Having those people on your side, having them to bounce ideas off of, having them in your corner to trust, and then the referral network, right, is crazy. Like having somebody that you're like, yep, I know that my guy Pat is going to help somebody no matter what, and he's a great guy, and this is the person that you should go. This is my money guy. This is my tax guy. This is my this guy, and these are the people that you're going to help out. And you know what? Like if you continue to do good work in that way, like I feel like all those referrals come to you, and it comes right back around, and it's so cool to see like other people using that network too. So all that to say, don't be afraid to coach. Don't be afraid to build that network too, and ask people for help, because it's so like, if I didn't ask for help when I first started running this business, there's no way that I would be here right now. Absolutely not. Like I've, again, 3 people that I could say off the rip: Zach Colburn, actually Zach and his wife, Megan, and then Dave DiLorenzo and Jeremy Scott, the guys that are in my mastermind group, and the rest of the mastermind group too. Nick Parker, Chris Zachary, all of you guys, like you guys have held me accountable to more people than just myself. And more people than just my family and friends too. So I totally agree, man. All that stuff totally is how I feel too.
And one thing that too I love is like I just feel like I'm the little man. I always feel like I'm around bigger people and bigger folks. So like like the referral method. So you told me about Pat, and I talked about Pat, and then I talked to Pat, and it's just like good guys, good people. So like even if I might not have been his like star audience, like he probably has like people who make more money than me, but he still gave me time of day, like it's perfect. The referral thing, you meet good people and you get good names in your mouth, and you can help other people like make their teams better. And like another thing too is like a coach or whoever we're talking about doesn't always have to be like, it could be your brother, it could be your dad, somebody who's always like mentoring you. So you said you have 10 people in your life. I've got right around 10 too, but yeah, a lot of them are like close family friends, or like always just mentored me in the right way. Having people to give you accountability is huge. That's my biggest thing.
Yeah, cool. Talk to me a little bit too. Like I don't think that you realize it, because I've seen it a ton when you're not here and we have the young bucks here. Mm-hmm. So for those of you guys that don't know, Blue Chip trains mostly online, primarily online. There's a very select few group of people that we will train in person. Cole is one of them. And then we also train youth athletes here as well. And we'll typically have Cole train with the youth athletes too. And we're working athleticism pieces, quickness. We're working fast twitch, so twitch, strength, overall conditioning, core stability stuff. Today we did a lot of shoulder mobility things together. But those guys, and you don't believe it, or because you don't see it quite as much as I do, but those guys look up to you because they're like, oh man, like they're like, where's Cole at today? And I'm like, oh, he's not training today because he's out of town. And they're like, man, like you can tell like they're bummed out that you're not there because they love being a part of that group with you.
Well,
so tell me a little bit about like community, and like I feel like that's such a key piece of like of any type of health journey or journey in general.
yeah, the group. I mean, we have those group of boys. They bring the fire. Kai, Brody, Jack, dude. Those working out with little kids, especially when you're a little bit older. Or not little kids. Working out with young guys, young bucks, young athletes really brings it out of you. You know, I might be the older bull. I'm not old, but much older than them. But it brings the competitiveness out. And, so when someone starts doing good, you start clapping, you start barking, and like it really makes it like a team building. And we're here to work out, but watching this kid deadlift more than me sets me on fire. It's like there's no way I'm going to sit here and let this kid deadlift more than me. And like that's something that I love. I've always been part of a team, so like I love team, rivalry. Like we're on the same team. We're obviously here to get fit, but like I'll be damned if I let this kid deadlift more than me. And like sometimes you need that. Some people need that. That's why I have a coach. But having a coach and a little extra, like what you got, fella? What you got, playa? Like that. That's my favorite part of working out. And some of these guys are some studs out here. They work out harder than me, and they're about half my age. It's crazy.
Yeah, plug for small group training there, right? Like, how cool is it to you still get kind of like that personal touch of like, hey, correcting form, encouragement, all those things, but you also get the benefit of being in a group and in a team, and then kind of seeing how other people stack up, being pushed by somebody else that's working too. It can be super, super cool. Cool, man. I want to leave. We'll kind of wrap this thing up here so we can go eat. But I want to ask you one or two more questions. The first one is, you're speaking now to somebody who is nervous to start a health journey. They're sitting there and they're like, dude, like I've been wanting to get into this. I've been wanting to do this thing for X amount of time. What's the one piece of advice that you would give them from sitting where you are now, 2 years into kind of what I'll call like your revitalization of health and realizing a lot of these things? What's the one piece of advice you give them to be like, hey, this is what I would do if I were you?
Well, I mean, it kind of sounds cliche, but start now. The faster you start, the better position you put yourself in the future. So, like I said, I stopped working out in high school and whatever. I kind of moseyed through junior college and moved here and got a job. And all that time, that little tiny muscle frame that I started, it never starts going away. And I know people who've worked out with me since high school and they never stopped working out. And you get, the longer you take to get fit, like to start the journey, the longer it's going to take for you to get there. And you're starting off in like a worse shape. So don't put yourself behind by like pushing and waiting. Because if you start now, you'll be good to go by the time you like, I guess, intentionally wanted to start. I would say like just do it. Like, and it could be a walk even, like play Pokemon Go or something. Just start doing something, and it's like a snowball effect. You'll see things, and you want to keep going, and you'll keep going, and you'll keep going, and you'll keep going, and eventually, you'll find yourself working out, and it's not a chore. You're just doing it because it's what you're used to, and it's discipline, and you love it, and it keeps your life, it gives you structure. So I would say start right now. Just do 10 sit-ups. Just start doing something. The longer you wait, the worse it's going to be.
Yeah, that proverb is like, what's the best time to plant a tree is yesterday, and the next best time is right now, is I think super, super relevant, right? Like
100%.
Totally. And I think too, Cole hit on something also that doing something that you enjoy is really important too, right? Like Cole didn't really necessarily enjoy training and lifting right away, but now I think that there's like a piece of you that's like, I'm really starting to lean in and like this. And then having that thing that you like. Now, your thing might be basketball. It might be running. It might be cycling. It might be mountain biking. It might be skiing or snowboarding, whatever. Find a way to lean into that thing that you like while also pushing yourself to do things that make you a little bit uncomfortable. Because when you start getting into that 5 to 10% amount of discomfort, and whether that's coached or not coached, self-coached or coached by somebody else, I think that's where the true growth happens. But continuing to do this stuff you love, like, I'll tell a cool thing. Like, we do a type of training here every once in a while where I take people out to a park, and I've got this slack line. Shout out to Bryce again, dude. You get the kudos for this and teaching me how to do it. But we have a slack line at the house, and what we'll do is we'll tie it up between a couple trees, and the goal will be like, hey, while somebody's on the slack line, somebody else is going to be doing some sort of a exercise or movement pattern. And then maybe they fall, and then other people have to do different moves. So, maybe it's like burpees, or maybe it's like, hey, run to this tree and back, or do whatever, lift this kettlebell. But we incorporate like balance training and these other types of things too, because it's fun. Like, adults, even kids, I feel like nowadays don't play enough.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're having fun and you're enjoying that, and fitness and health becomes like the byproduct and not like the goal, then I think that this really starts to become something you can do forever.
Dude, and like you said, the small group thing, like, when we were all out there in the slack line, like, it's so fun and it's so competitive. So, like, example, like, yeah, as long as you're on the slack line, we're working. So sometimes you're on there like, that's right, look, let's keep working on the slack line. And other times you're like praying for them to fall off this slack line after you do like the 30th burpee. And like, that's one thing that I love too, is small, like, just competitiveness. If you can't fire yourself up to go to the gym, like, find someone to be competitive with and get competitive and like make it hard. But and competition is fun. Like, you could be doing hard work, but if you're competing, it's better than just doing hard work by yourself. So that's another thing I like about having the dudes over for workouts.
Yeah, that's right. Having the community. Cool, man. I don't have a whole lot else. Do you have any other last pieces, words of wisdom?
Dude, I'm ready. The ice bath was cold today.
It's time to eat, baby. It's time to eat.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Again, this is Cole. I'm not gonna. Well, I guess I can put yourself in the show notes if you really want. If you want the love.
You want to put my what?
But let's do a quick shout out. Luigi's of Bakersfield. No, we have to make sure we shout them out. Luigi's of Bakersfield. If you're at Bakersfield, California, go check out Luigi's. They are bomb Italian. How long they been in
over
business?
100 years.
Over 100 years, baby. 100 years Italian. They were the deli wines.
Deli. Yeah, we got
family business.
Italian,
we're giving a shout out. We got
a deli. We got wine there. We got a bunch of cheese. Yeah, shout out Luigi. Shout out Mom and Dad.
Yeah, we love it. We love it. Any other last minute shout outs you want to throw out there?
That's it. We got Bryce and Carter.
Cool. Yeah,
and the boys and the young lads.
And the young lads. Cool, man. I'm gonna throw this up in the next couple of days, but for now, let's go get some grub, man.
Coolio.
Cool. And by the way, I got one more thing. If you're interested in doing that thing that Cole said is just starting, we are doing our 30 for 30 challenge in November beta program with our newest coach, Coach Nick. For $30, you get to train with us for 30 days. You get to learn training norms. You get to hear about nutrition. You get to be part of our community. You get a ton of value. We're going to pump you guys through. You're going to look, move, and feel your best, and you're going to really make a ton of progress in only 30 days with us, and see how it's like to train with Blue Chip Athletic Club. So check it out. We'll leave the link for that in the show notes as well. And then we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.